Well, it's week 3. You are almost to the halfway point. Way to go. We're so excited for you. As we look ahead, just a couple of things that we'd remind you about before we talk about this week's group. The first is, in just a few weeks, the week of February 18th, we're asking all groups to have a barbecue, a cookout, a potluck, whether in your home or somebody else in your group's home. This is going to create just a fun, informal environment where people can hang out, get to know each other more without the agenda of discussion questions, and share a meal together. As we've seen in the past, these are some of the sweetest nights for these groups because they get to know each other without the pressure of feeling like they have to perform in conversation. And so this week, we want to ask that with your group, you identify when that's going to be. Again, the week of February 18th. Who's going to host it? It can be at your house. Or if you've got somebody in your group who has the great gift of hospitality, it might be a great way for them to open up their home. If there's somebody in your group that wants to provide the meal, or you want to do a potluck or split costs, you can do that any way you'd like. But this week, identify when that's going to be and where it's going to be so that everybody can get it on their calendar before it fills up. And then this coming week is We Love Our City. By this time, you've already identified where you're going to be serving and when that project is. Make sure everybody in your group knows where you're meeting, if you're carpooling, maybe plan a lunch afterward together and go celebrate that day as a group. But go ahead and make sure that all those details are firmed up for We Love Our City. This week, we're talking about prayer, and specifically the power of prayer. But prayer is one of those things, similar to the Bible, that it's really easy for us to be intimidated by. Because it seems so simple, that we feel like we should just naturally be really good at it. But a lot of people just have some really strong insecurity about praying, specifically praying out loud. But here's the bottom line for this week, that prayer is nothing more than talking to Jesus about the real you. We have these ideas that our prayers need to be really formal, that, we get in a group setting where you're praying out loud and somebody starts spouting off Old English and you're like, where did that come from? Because that person never talks like that anyway, but when we pray, sometimes we just start using weird formalities and all that. Know that God just wants to hear from us, and encourage your group with that God just wants to hear from them, that he wants to hear how their day was, even though he knows it. He wired us for community with each other and for relationship with him. And so talking with God on a regular basis is a powerful way for us to grow in our faith. In your group practically this week, a great way to focus on the idea of prayer and to apply it to your group is just asking your group, and maybe you've been doing this already, but ask everybody in your group to share one way that as a group, they can be praying for each other this week. For some people, the idea of prayer requests is a pretty common idea, but for others, the idea of sharing a place that they need help or a place that they're anxious about might be a new idea. And so ask everybody to share just one thing that the group can be praying for. And maybe you as a leader, or you identify a couple people that are comfortable praying out loud, spend some time at the end of your group just praying for those specific requests. As a leader, I want to challenge you to write all of those requests down, and then at some point in between the times that you meet as a group, to follow up with those people, to check in on those specific requests, because as a leader, one of the primary ways that you can show your love for your group is by caring for them and checking in on those prayer requests and asking how that job interview went, asking how those test results came back, asking how that family member is, will go a long way in building trust and comfort between your group members and you. Again, we're so thankful for you guys. After this week, you'll be halfway through our 6-week small group series. So proud of you. Let us know how things are going. We want to hear from you. Have a great week.